Hey guys, Kiriam Sparta here with
Sarah!
keeping the Death of the Family train rolling.
Yes.
We just did Batman and Robin number 15, check that one out. And yeah, we're about to do...
Batgirl number 15. And
I like the cover.
There is the cover, if you can tell that. There.
Very nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember what happened last issue. It was
With
a while
Batgirl, wasn't there like a roller disco or something
roller
like that?
derby, well, not roller derby, but a skating thing. And he proposed to her
Yeah.
in the last one.
Yeah.
Which is where it ended. So when this one picks up, it's actually before all this stuff started happening. This is before Joker's face was even cut off.
Okay.
And he's still in Arkham. And it opens up with him in a straitjacket with two, like, neck things around his neck and guards holding them. It reminded me of the Walker's
Oh, the Walker
sticks
sticks.
in
Oh, okay.
In The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're actually called, but...
Walker sticks.
Walker sticks is
Let's
what
just
I'm
call
going with. So he's in Arkham in a therapy session with a psychologist, and she tries to get him to open up to her by writing a journal. So he wrote a journal, kept track of everything that he's ever seen on his short time on Earth, is what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls her out on the fact that she's just there to be famous. A book about him would make her famous, which was a nice reference to what Harleen was there for.
Yeah.
So he says, let's walk through my journal together. So that's where we leave that for now and come back to the present, which is him skating around Barbara in her Batgirl costume and her mom, who's still tied to a chair. So he's basically just, talking nonsense to her. How do you feel about a first date? I think we make a really cute couple, and he's just dancing around her and acting all crazy. And Batgirl is still holding the napkin with her mom's bloody finger in it this entire time. Need to cut this part out. I totally lost where I am.
Okay.
Fuck. Okay, sorry. And she's staring at this finger, and he kind of pulls her back, grabs her chin and pulls her back and says, hey, are you listening to what I'm saying? She says, oh, I hear you. And in her mind, she's saying, I'm going to kill this bastard. I made up my mind. I've already decided. And he says to her, communication is the key. You haven't even really answered my marriage proposal. What do you say? And throughout this entire comic, you flip back and forth between him talking back in the past to this therapist and to what's going on in the present. So now we jump back to the therapy session.
Okay.
And the therapist is flipping through the books, and he says, sort's a bit disorganized. I had to write some of it out after being beaten senseless by Batman. And he says, FYI, batarangs can cuss. I thought that was cute. So she's flipping through the book, and as he's going, he's narrating what he's written. And he said, oh, the next page is really special. It's what I would do if I had a 9-year-old girl named Sasha. And the therapist goes, I have a daughter. She's 9, and her name is Sasha. So then you get a look of Joker's evil eyes saying, now, doctor, don't no peeking ahead. And then we flip back to the present. And Joker pulls out a gun and holds it to her mom's head and pulls the trigger, but it's empty, or that chamber was empty anyway, and just goes click. And he asks her again, will you marry me? And to stop him, Barbara says, whatever, I'll do what you want, sure, I'm in. And this entire time you get inner monologue going on, basically talking about how a few months ago she didn't know that her mom was alive or dead. Now she's alive and she can't let this happen to her. Yeah. And the worst part for her, which is what's making her the most scared and most angry, is the fact that her brother sent her there.
Right, yeah.
Whether unwillingly or not, like being tied into this whole plot, he's the one that sent her there.
It's true, yeah.
So she's upset that it was her own brother that did that. So then we go to a panel of her brother looking into the building with a pair of binoculars, and he gets a phone call. And it's Barbara's roommate, Alicia, who, I don't remember if I mentioned it in the last video, but Alicia and James, her brother, were going out for dating. I don't know if it's anything serious, but Alicia calls him and says, my apartment was just broken into by a bunch of thugs. My roommate ran off, and I'm scared. So she basically calls James away from what's going on with Joker right now.
Yeah.
Then we flip back to the therapy session, And the therapist starts freaking out because she needs to go. Obviously, she needs to find out where the heck her daughter is if it was taken.
Yeah.
And this is when Joker starts talking about what he wants his wedding to be like. He said, in this book, I have all my plans for my wedding. It's going to be so fabulous, and he's got everything all figured out. Let me go back to the present tense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I really liked this little exchange here. Barbara says to Joker, what is it you want? And then he says, that's what I like, an old-fashioned girl takes care of her man. That was... Joker's fucking funny. He's the Joker.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. So, Joker starts talking about what he wants for the wedding to her. Says, oh, I want this and this and this. The entire time she's thinking, he's got my mom on a 5-pound nail bomb. She says, oh, in her head, screw you, Joker, and starts shouting out, attention anyone who's working with the Joker. The blast radius for the nail bomb is 40 meters, and the guy who's paying your money is 3 meters from the bomb. And she jumps on him, wraps her arms around his neck, and tackles him to the ground. She punches like his kidney, his liver, and as she's doing that, she's saying, that was your kidney, and that was your liver. And then she punches him in the spine, and says, and you know what this is? And just kind of lets him fall to the ground, stomps on him, grabs his gun, and holds it to his head. This entire time in her head, she's like, and then I say some things I've never said before, dark things, hateful things. Holds it to his head, and she says, I will take care of my man, in the quotes, and holds the gun to his back, right in his spine.
Nice.
And she's thinking, I thought about this for 4 years, I know exactly what to do, it's worth everything, it's worth jail, it's worth guilt. And then this is when Joker starts laughing and says, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna love you, and she gets shot at. Bullet kind of hits where her knee is on the ground, so she's not hit, but she's shot at.
Near, yeah.
And she realizes that his hired help and his goons are a lot more loyal than she thought they would be. So he says, I've been thinking about this for a long time, it's going to be done properly, so unless you want your mom to be shot in the head, take this note, go follow directions, and go where it tells you to go. And she says to her mom that she'll be back for her, leaves, puts the finger on ice as she's leaving, and as she's leaving, she says to Joker, the rules no longer apply here, I'm not Batman, do you know that? And he goes, I know, I'm proud of you. So creepy. So she leaves, and one of Joker's thugs that was punched by Barbara hands him a phone and says, you have a phone call. And it turned out to be Barbara's brother. And she says, or he says, rather, I know what you're planning, let the women go, they're not yours to play with. And Joker just says, I don't know who you are, I don't like your tone, have a day, would you? And hangs up on him. And James has Alicia in the car at the time, so he says, I'm going to go help my sister, apparently. And these next few pages flip back and forth between the therapy session and the present. It's speeding up a little bit, so it's kind of, the points of the stories are catching up with each other. So the therapist in this one panel is saying, why are you telling me these things about the wedding that you want? Joker says, well, it's because you're a woman, and not to be sexist, but we both know that you're tricky and prone to infidelity. So then it shows Barbara arriving at a church and has a picture of what the note said. It said, get flowers, get bailed, get hitched. So she shows up at this, what looks like an abandoned church. And then the next panel of Joker in the therapy session is him saying, why marry someone if she's just going to cheat anyway? And then it goes back to Barbara walking into the church, and it has a dirty veil sitting on a, broken mannequin, and she grabs gross flowers with a dead rat on them, and walks into the church, and it has the priest held at gunpoint. And then it's Joker to the therapist again, saying, so what if I thought as a special honeymoon treat, right after the wedding, the moment after, what if I took her arms and legs off and kept her alone, and kept her alive forever in the basement? And that's when Barbara's back in the church. The priest is saying, I'm so sorry, they had my congregation held hostage. And it's just full of thugs in suits and weird dresses. And the last little panel we have is Joker leaving the therapy session, saying, I know it's a bit much, but what can I say? I'm a romantic. And that's where it ends.
Pretty damn good, I think.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I mean, I know this has been all over the internet, but Gail Simone really is. She writes Barbara and Batgirl very, very well. And it's going to be sad when she leaves. So
some people aren't happy about that.
No, but
No.
it sucks, but what can you do?
You can throw out a big fuck you to DC if you want.
I don't want to say fuck you to DC.
Okay.
It's extremely frustrating, and I'm really, really going to miss her, especially how it happened. But that's not why we're here, so,
Yeah. So
just keep it neutral.
Death of the Family, definitely keeping up with the crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
liking it. Really digging it. Which one do you think we should tackle next?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
We're doing number 15.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad number 15 is coming up. Once again, Kiriyama Sparta.
Sarah.
If you had a good time, like, comment, subscribe,
Favorite.
yada yada. I'm just gonna start making a button that just says all that stuff.
Do
I
it,
don't need
yeah.
to say. No, we're gonna say it every time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. 2 more to go.
2 more to go.
Have a good one, you.
Bye.